Hello, everyone. It's Nicole Witt, your miracle mentor, and I am here today in this video of Course in Miracles. We're going to be looking at Chapter 1, the meaning of miracles, and we are on Section 5, Wholeness and Spirit. And I've read this section now 2 days in a row. If you missed in my prior video or the one before that, I talked about how Spirit is working with me in this reading of going through A Course in Miracles. I've read it through, I don't know, I'm going to guess at least 10 times. I'm totally guessing. I have no idea. But this time, as I was given this assignment to do these videos, one for each section. But if I don't get to making a video any particular day, then I read that section again the next morning in my practice, and I keep reading it until I come here and make video. So it's really interesting to read a section numerous times in a row, numerous mornings in a row, and see what drops in during the day and what greater understanding I get. So I'm really excited at the way that this is working out. So here we go. Wholeness and Spirit. The miracle is much like the body in that both are learning aids for facilitating a state in which they become unnecessary. When spirit's original state of direct communication is reached, neither the body nor the miracle serves any purpose. While you believe you are in a body, however, you can choose between loveless and miraculous channels of expression. Okay? Because we believe that we're here in this body, we now have a choice to choose between loveless and miraculous channels of expression. You can make an empty shell, but you cannot express nothing at all. So yesterday, I know I was talking about in the prior video to this, feeling disconnected and feeling like an empty shell, because he talks about it there as well. And so he brings it back here and he talks about you can make an empty shell, but you cannot express nothing at all. So no matter how disconnected we feel, how empty we feel, we cannot be nothing. We cannot express nothing. There is always that light inside of us. You can wait, delay, paralyze yourself, or reduce your creativity almost to nothing, but you cannot abolish it. You can destroy your medium of communication, but not your potential. You did not create yourself. And because we did not create ourselves, we cannot destroy ourselves. That light that we are, that spark of light, the thing that he said, we can diminish it almost to nothing. We can try to kill it. And in a lot of ways, that's what we're doing here in this world. We're actively trying to kill that light inside of us because we think that we're in charge and we want to be in charge. And he's saying, no, it's not possible. You did not create yourself. You cannot get rid of yourself. It reminds me of what do the parents say to kids? I bring you into this world and I can bring you out of it, right? But we did not create ourselves. So we cannot discreate ourselves. We are always as our Father created us. The basic decision of the miracle-minded is not to wait on time any longer than is necessary. Time can waste as well as be wasted. The miracle worker, therefore, accepts the time control factor gladly. He recognizes that every collapse of time brings everyone closer to the ultimate release from time, in which the Son and the Father are one. Equality does not imply equality now. When everyone recognizes that he has everything, individual contributions to the sonship will no longer be necessary. Okay, so he's bringing up this idea again of the miracle being a shortener of time. We talked about it in several videos coming up to this point because it seems to talk about it a lot in the beginning, which is great. I'm love that I'm starting over because I get so much more out of it. And um and so, we want this time control factor. We want to abolish time and get us closer and faster to our home. And he's talking about equality does not imply equality now. In truth, equality, father and son are one, but in this make believe crazy system we have in our mind, we don't believe in equality. We're trying to deny equality. So we have these individual contributions, we've specialized everything, we've made everybody special, and in the end, it's not true, but let's deal with it while we're here. When the atonement has been completed, all talents will be shared by all the sons of God. God is not partial. All his children have his total love, and all his gifts are freely given to everyone alike. Except ye become as little children means that unless you fully recognize your complete dependence on God, you cannot know the real power of the Son in his true relationship with the Father. So I think we hear that phrase, yeah, except ye become as little children. And I've heard it used in different ways, like we're supposed to be innocent. We're supposed to with wonder, right? It can be used in a lot of different circumstances as it and is. And here he's talking about this idea of our complete dependence on God, like because little children, are completely dependent on their parents, and he's stressing this. It's the same thing. We are completely dependent upon God, and once we faster we realize that, then we have the power that is ours. But as long as we think we have that authority problem and think we can do it on our own, we'll never know the power that we have. The specialness of God's sons does not stem from exclusion, but from inclusion. All my brothers are special. If they believe they are deprived of anything, their perception becomes distorted. When this occurs, the whole family of God, or the sonship, is impaired in its relationships. So isn't that interesting? So first of all, if they, my brothers, people, us, if we believe we are deprived of anything, our perception becomes distorted, right? And think how often our thoughts are about deprivation. I don't have what I want, whatever that may be. I don't have the love that I want. I don't have the money that I want. I don't have the attention that I want. I don't have the glory that I want. I don't have that dress that I want. I don't have the food that I want. Um, and so that's why our perception is distorted, because we're believing in this idea of deprivation. And this next sentence, when this occurs, the whole family of God or the sonship is impaired in its relationships because there's only one mind, there's no private thoughts. So when I'm going around thinking, I'm deprived, I'm deprived, I'm deprived, I'm deprived, I'm deprived, the one mind is influenced by that, is impaired in its relationship because it can no longer be, there's a part of it that is believing in deprivation. Therefore, it's all living in deprivation. And while that sounds like, oh my God, like I'm responsible, like it's that holographic idea, right? Everything is in the whole. So we're only working with our own mind. He's just stressing here how important it is, but it's not, we shouldn't then become blameful of ourselves and judgmental of ourselves in the way that like we're ruining everything. Okay, it's not true. No harm, no foul. Now, paragraph 4. Ultimately, every member of the family of God must return. The miracle calls him to return because it blesses and honors him, even though he may be absent in spirit. God is not mocked, is not a warning, but a reassurance. God would be mocked if any of his creations lacked holiness. The creation is whole, and the mark of wholeness is holiness. Miracles are affirmations of sonship, which is a state of completion and abundance. Whatever is true is eternal and cannot change or be changed. Spirit is therefore unalterable because it is already perfect, but the mind can elect what it chooses to serve. The only limit put on its choice, the mind's choice, is that it cannot serve two masters. If it, the mind, elects to do so, the mind can become the medium. Oh, if it elects to do so, the mind can become the medium by which spirit creates along the line of its own creation. So if the mind elects to do so, it can join with spirit and create like spirit. If it does not freely elect to do so, okay, so it chooses not to align with spirit, it retains its creative potential, but places itself under tyrannous rather than authoritative control. As a result, it imprisons, because such are the dictates of tyrants. To change your mind means to place it at the disposal of true authority, right? Our complete dependence on God. Here's the last paragraph. The miracle is a sign that the mind has chosen to be led by me in Christ's service. The abundance of Christ is the natural result of choosing to follow him. All shallow roots must be uprooted because they are not deep enough to sustain you. The illusion that shallow roots can be deepened and thus made to hold is one of the distortions on which the reverse of the golden rule rests. Okay, so there's a little bit more, but I want to stop here because this is a thing that I kind of got more understanding of in my second day of reading this section, or, actually yesterday as it came to me, because at first I was like, the reverse of the golden rule. What does that even mean? So the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? So the reverse, and what kind of came to me was this idea that, well, let's get from others before they get from me. That's kind of my personality idea of the reverse of the golden rule is let's get from others before they get from us. I'm sure there are other turnarounds on that. And so if you have any ideas, actually, I'd love to hear it in the comments. And then to go back to the sentence before that where it talks about the shallow roots, I was like, okay, what is he talking about? Because, and how does that relate to the reverse of the golden rule? So all the shallow roots must be uprooted because they are not deep enough to sustain you. And what came to me is the shallow roots are the roots we try to plant in this world. Who we show up as, what we're going to be, our place in the world, like who we are, our labels, all this stuff. And the roots, they're shallow. And they must be uprooted because they're not deep enough to sustain us. We know none of those things make us happy. The illusion that shallow roots can be deepened and thus made to hold. So this idea that we can deepen our roots in this world and be happy. And we keep trying to do it. We keep trying to figure it out. How do I get happiness that is based in something in this world? And he's saying that leads to that idea that that's possible leads to the reverse of the golden rule. Okay, whatever that means to you. Like I said, I think for me, it came to be this idea of let me get before they get from me. So that was like my big new awareness and new focus this time through reading this section. So the last couple sentences here. As these false underpinnings are given up, right, those false roots, the equilibrium is temporarily experienced as unstable. Yeah. However, nothing is less stable than an upside down orientation, or the world. nor can anything that holds it upside down be conducive to increased stability. Okay. So not anything that holds that is part of the world, attached to the world, the roots of the world, can conducive to increased stability. It's not going to happen. The world is always going to be very unstable and very back and forth and a little bit kind of crazy. And that's why sometimes we feel crazy, right? So I hope you enjoyed that. Again, like, yeah, if you have any ideas about what the rivers of the golden rule is for you, I would really love to hear it if you would comment below. And my next video, we will be looking at section 6, the illusion of needs. I feel like we're going to be talking about that idea of deprivation again. So have a good one. I love you. Bye-bye.